Hey, what's happening today? It's Josh here, and we're going to go over another cool GetResponse feature, which is the automation workflows. And automation is great within GetResponse because you have the ability to kind of set it and forget it. As long as you know how to put them together, which that's why we're here, right? Because I'm going to show you how to do this. But this is an automation that I have really started to enjoy because it keeps things rolling in my list. It allows me to not have to worry about checking all the opens and checking engagement and things like that just for cleaning my list. So what this does and what we're going to go over today is this is an automation I built that allows my contacts to be scanned by GetResponse, and they go through this workflow and it checks if they've opened emails. And if they haven't opened an email, it's actually going to give them an actual message that says, hey, I see where you're coming from. Maybe you just don't like getting my content. Maybe you want to unsubscribe, or maybe you just missed it here and there. So I'm going to give you some of those tips. I'm also going to talk about why it's important and some timelines that you can use. And then we're going to actually go through a live walkthrough of me building a new automation that just mimics this one, but I want to show you the exact steps that I took, how I connected them all, the reasons behind that, just something to be able to get you moving forward, because I know a lot of people have questions, especially people that come on my team, is they always have questions and say, well, how do I do this? And so it's always walking them through. So now we can have this video here. So if you're coming around and you've never seen me before, my name is Josh Schonert. My wife and I are entrepreneurs, and this is how we help others. And so one of the things that I love is digital marketing. I'm a tech guy. And so this is perfect for me. And this is what I've learned, that I can take my skills and move them forward in order to really, help others build their businesses as well. So we're going to get right into it here. I'm going to bring myself down into the corner and I'm going to show you. So this is an example of an automation that has been already pre-built. It's running currently right now. You can see here that we've had 16 people go through and run through this and ended up having been deleted from my account. Right now, there's a few people that are waiting from this engagement message. And so the way that this works is you can see up here the subscribed to any list via any method. And I created this automation some time ago. I've put over 1,800 people through this automation, and you can see that there's some bigger numbers over here on this side, smaller numbers on this side, and I'll go in a little bit in depth on how these work. But basically, here's the flow: is they come into the subscription, it's any list via any method, and they go into this dynamic segment, and you can see over here on the right side that what I've done is I've said I want these lists to be looked at. So I've got a number of lists, and I have some of them that are, off of that list, which actually I should, looking at it here, I should take that one off the list. But anyways, so what it does is it looks for people on these lists when they're subscribed to these lists, and then it's going to check, and are they receiving autoresponders or not? So either one is fine anytime. And then what it does is it says, I want you to match all of the following. Email contains gmail.com. Now, the reason why that's important is because you want to have a different time frame for Gmail users versus non-Gmail users. Non-Gmail users, so AOL.com, Yahoo.com, Outlook.com, any of the other email providers out there, they are a little bit more stringent on getting emails into the inbox. They're very quick to send emails to spam if you don't interact with them for a certain amount of time. I've seen it happen as little as 2 weeks, but usually it's that kind of 60-day time frame that most email responders, email service providers, they really kind of start looking down on those kind of stats and saying, hey, maybe this person doesn't have good enough engagement to continue getting their emails in the inbox. So non-Gmail accounts are about 60 days. Gmail, you can do 90 or 120 days, like 3 months, 4 months. I've seen people even go as far as 6 months keeping these people on their list. Now, I'm being really conservative with my list right now. So I'm getting rid of Gmail users at the 90-day mark. And, well, I guess not getting rid of them, but flagging them for re-engagement at the 90-day mark. And so here's what happens is they come in here, and if they're Gmail, they come over to the left side. If they're non-Gmail, they'll go to the right side. So what you'll see here is that when they come from this segment right here, they come down, and you notice these are both the same, but what's different is if they're a Gmail, they'll come to the left, they'll go on this when any message is opened, and it says check for 90 days, right? So, any message, 90 days. So if they've opened any message in 90 days, then it just kind of restarts that process. You see this green line comes from down on the bottom, goes up here, and that just kind of restarts the process. Then what happens is when they come in that 90-day time frame and they haven't opened an email, which you can see my Gmail users, I've got 595 in here right now. I haven't had any Gmail users not open an email in 90 days so far, which is good. That means that Gmail is getting into the inbox more often. But what will happen is this will then go down and send them a re-engagement message, and this is going to allow them to decide if they want to stay on the list or not. And I'll show you the message here in a little bit, but then what you do is you come down here, and if they don't click on anything on here, so I'm waiting, right? Wait for a specific link being clicked. So if they come through here and they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to click this link right here, this, thank you email, right? So what that is that's a thank you page that I send them to, which I can show you that as well. And actually, I'll show you that right now. So this page right here is basically a thank you page. This is all it is. It's our logo in the background. Thank you for confirming your subscription. You will now continue to get emails from our list. And back to website. And all this does is just takes it back to the home page on the website. So that was our little pop-up for the newsletter. So that's basically what that link does. It waits for 7 days to see if they're going to click it. When they click it, it then takes them back up. You can see right here, it takes them all the way back up to this when any message is opened. So what we're looking for is, and the reason why you see this loop here and then this loop comes back here, it's a little tricky, but the way to set up this automation is you can't loop it back on itself. You can't tell it to just redo itself. So you've got to send it back through a previous location to make it filter back through. Hence why this one comes up here instead of all the way up to the top, because I know that this is a Gmail account. Whoever's in this list is a Gmail account, so they can go back here. So same thing on the other side, same criteria. The only difference is the any message opened is 60 days instead of 90 days. And then the re-engagement message is the same. And then the specific link is the same. And then both of them, if they don't click the link, you can see Gmail, people have clicked the link, or people haven't even made it to the re-engagement message, to be honest, which means they're clicking anything up here. They're opening emails up here. But if they were to get down here, nobody's been removed here. But on this side, we've had 16 people, this number right here, 16 people have been removed from the list with this automation. And the reason I'm doing this video now is because I've had the time to let this run through and make sure it works. And I validated that it works. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to go over here and I'm actually going to save and publish because I made a change while we're on the call here. And this is what, digital marketing is always like this, right? You're always making changes. You're always doing things that are going to better your list and better your marketing. And it's just the way it goes. So we're going to go back to see all workflows. You see, I've got a few of them here. We're going to just click on create workflow. So where I'm at, just to show you how to get here. So if you're on your main page, so let's say we go back to your main landing page right here. So this is the GetResponse dashboard. So this is your dashboard, and this just kind of goes through and shows some things. And so if you go to menu and you go down to automation, that's how you're going to go ahead and get to this page that we were on, where it shows you the automations that you have. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build this automation. So if we go to workflow, so we'll go start now and build from scratch. That's what we're going to do. And it's going to ask you to put in your workflow name. So we're going to go, we'll just do demo list cleaning. And we're going to start out with subscribes. So that's the first thing, right? Subscribe to any list via any method. And so that's already set over here. And we can do the whole include contacts who are already in this list before the workflow starts. I would recommend doing that if you wanted to put those people automatically in your list and are in your workflow and have them start being tracked already. So all you have to do is just flip that toggle. That'll put that on, and then you can start going through. So this element's already good to go. Any list via any method, we're fine. So now what we're going to go ahead and we're going to do from here, we want to do a segment. We go dynamic segment, and you want to hold and drag. And from there, I always like to connect these since I know they're going to be connected. And you have a green and a red, right? So you have the conditions. So green means it met the condition. Red means it does not meet the condition. So what we're going to do is we have create new segment. Okay. Now I could use an existing segment if I wanted to. I've got a whole bunch here, but we're going to do create new segment. And we're going to say for the list, we're just going to pick, we're going to do select none. We're just going to pick, let's do select all, and then we'll just unselect the team one, that one. We don't need that one in there. And that looks like that could probably be good. Okay, so, and then we're going to do autoresponder sequence. We want whether they're receiving them or not. Subscription date is all time. And then we need to do an add condition. So the condition is we need to match any of the following. Choose condition is email. Then we want contains. And then from here, we want just gmail.com. So this is an easy way to segment out the Gmail, because Gmail is the only one that you really are going to be okay with leaving for a while. And in here, we're just going to go through and just, you can click off of that. You can change the colors right here. You can do default color. I'm just going to leave it there. So we know, okay, any of these lists, receiving or not for autoresponders, subscription date is all time, match any of the following, email contains gmail.com. So good there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to ask the question, have they opened an email? Okay. And we're going to do the good one here like this. And then we're going to go grab, actually, we'll just do this one quickly. So we're going to say, if yes, what message open do you want to track? Any message. Run multiple times. Yes, because you're going to loop this through. And then after some time, we're just going to go with what I used, which was 90 days. Default color. Let's go with blue. Sure, why not? Okay. So now we need another one. Message opened for the not meeting the criteria. And we're going to change the same thing. Any message, run multiple times, yes. After some time, 60 days. And we'll set that one also to blue. And I like changing the colors on these because then I know that those specific actions are different than other actions in the list. So I'm going to widen these out a little bit because I know we're going to build some things out here. So, all right. And that's what's cool. You can move these around and it'll even tell you when it's too close. So notice how it's kind of doing that double view look. It'll tell you when it's too close up here. It'll tell you when it's too close over here. So I like the grid that it lets you kind of build your things out and do whatever. You can satisfy your OCD here with that. Okay. So now that we got that done, now what we need to do is we need to determine if they're going to, be looped back at all. So the first thing we're going to do is if they open a message, we want to send them back on each one of these. The green line is we want to send them back to the dynamic segment and then make them go back into whatever bucket they fall in, because we want them to continue to loop through that and continue to be checked for that 60-day time frame. If you don't want to open my emails, that's fine. I have to pay for subscribers. I pay per amount of subscribers that's on my list. So I don't want to pay for people that don't want to engage, right? So there's that. So now once we get to the next spot, the next thing is if they don't open the message in that amount of time, we want to send them a message. So that's where this comes in right here, is send them a message. And for this message right here, we can just say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to say message layout from automation. And what we're going to do, I'm going to use the same re-engagement message. And I'll show you this message here in a little bit and show you what it looks like. But we're just going to use that same one for now. So if they don't do this, if they don't click, we're going to send the re-engagement message. And same thing over here. And what you can do is if you want to quickly copy these, you could just do Control V. So Control C for copy, Control V for paste. So click on the element. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to show you this again. So you can't see my keystrokes, but I'm doing Control C to copy and Control V right away to paste. And here's that same exact element. And we can just put that over here. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to bring those down like this. So we have the engagement message. And yes, we want to run multiple times. We don't care about sending it to unique recipients because if they go back through and they have to get this re-engagement message again, then they're going to need this message again. Like that's just the way it's going to work. And default color, we'll leave that color. That's fine. So for this engagement message, same thing, run multiple times, leave it like that. So next step is, do they click a link in this message? So we want to know, did they click a link? So link clicked up here, top right, bring this down. And so we're going to connect these guys up like this. We're going to set the link. So we go in this automation, okay? Specific link from specific message, re-engagement message. And then the link we want, so there's a few links in here you can see because I've got different things on here. But the link that we want is this thank you email link. So that's going to help us understand, did they click the link that takes them to the email page, the thank you email? And does that actually, so that way they can loop back through. So if we go through here, we say yes, run multiple times because we want them to, if they go back through it, that they'll get put back through. And then for this one, I usually wait 7 days. And the reason I wait 7 days is because sometimes somebody's on vacation, maybe they're sick, maybe something else is going on. I don't want to just rip them out after 1 day. I want to give them some time to be able to open their email and check their emails. Now, that can cause this email to get buried. But again, that's not the point, right? We're not trying to be, we're not trying to do the niceties and be like, oh, well, maybe this happened. We're trying to get this rolling so then that way you can clean up your list and have this ready to go. So as we go through this, then I'm going to change the default color for this one. And I'm going to make this one light green to say, hey, did you click that link? And now, same thing as we did before, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. Now we have the same exact element over here. And now we've got that set up. So easy, we're not having to go through and rebuild everything. You can copy the elements. Now, this is where it gets interesting is, remember before we took the green check, right? So when any message is open, go up and, bring them back up to the dynamic segment. Now we're going to say we want just to bring them back up to checking if they've opened that message. That's really the key here because, and the reason we're doing it for each one independently instead of sending them both up here is we know that once they got past this message opened, then we know that they're part of that group. So we can just loop them in this thing the whole time. If they get the re-engagement message and they click the link to stay on the list, they go back through the same process and they don't have to be checked again if they're a non-Gmail or Gmail account because they're still in that loop and they can just continue to loop through like that. So we're going to recap a little bit here so we know where we're at, right? Subscribe to any list via any method. Dynamic segment, any email that contains gmail.com gets the green check. Any email that does not contain gmail.com gets the red check because that's what we're checking for is to match any of the following. So, and then what we're going to do here is we've gotten the any message open for 90 days for Gmail, 60 days for non-Gmail. If they don't open in that time frame, send them the re-engagement message. And then once a specific link is clicked after the re-engagement message, then they go back to the, back through the loop and they get re-evaluated again. Otherwise, if they don't, what do we want to do with them, right? We want to remove them from the list. So the nice thing is we have this action down here that's remove contact. We'll just drag this over. And what I do, and this is just me personally, because I don't feel it's necessary to keep people in an account and pay for them if they're just not going to engage, right? We're running a business here. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're running a business. So if you go through here and you want to remove them, you can choose the remove from list, but then they're just going to be in your account and just kind of sitting there. So what I do is I say remove from account. That way we know that it's just gone, right? They're done. Then I do not turn on the run multiple times because I want to make sure that, they understand that they're gone, right? And if somebody can get back through, then it's going to, if their email address comes back through, they're technically a different account. So if you have the same contact in 2 different lists and you remove them from the account, then that means that they haven't opened any emails, right? Like, think about this. When any message is opened, that means it doesn't matter how many lists they're in, they haven't opened any of your emails. I'm sorry, but you're off of my list at that point. So, remove from account, same thing, Control-C, Control-V, bring this copied element over here, connect these up, and there you go. That's it. That's literally all it takes to set up this automation. And then what you end up doing is you put yourself in a position where you no longer have to go back and check all your contacts. You don't have to go do all the filtering and the segmenting and all that kind of stuff. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how to segment your list, and I talked about list cleaning there. Well, that's something that you can do manually, and I have done that in the past. But this will then automate that entirely for you, so you don't have to take the time to do that. That's why this is super important. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to publish this. What I'm going to do is just save and exit, because I don't want to run a second automation at the same time, obviously. So, and I want to show you one of the automation messages, that engagement message. In your automations view, if you click on automation messages, you're going to get the ability to view the messages that you've created as part of the automations. And when you create a new message in those automations, what will happen is it will actually, you'll be able to do it right in that automation view. You don't have to go out and create it and then reconnect it. It'll just pop up an editor for you and you're good to go there. I'm going to bring this up so you can see what this is. So really all this is talking about how, we can get busy at times. I don't want to bombard you with emails. Last thing I want to do is make you feel overwhelmed or feel like you're being spammed. So do me a favor. Down below are 2 links. One of them will let me know that you want to still see my content and you'd like to stay on my list. The other one will rip you out of my list completely and you won't be getting any more emails from me in the future. That means that you will not get any special offers, promotions, or any sort of recommendations from me. Additionally, that means you won't be able to see my stories or any of my informational and helpful content either. But I totally understand and I won't hold it against you. You can always resubscribe by going to my website here. So always give them a way to resubscribe, right? Because if they click this link and says, nah, I'm good, take me off your list, and then they start missing your content, they're like, man, I really liked Josh's emails, or I really liked whoever's emails. They can come back in here and they can say, all right, go here and resubscribe. They won't be able to say, please keep me on your list, because now they've lost that ability. They're out of the account. They're not even in the workflow anymore. So, but if they click this, nah, I'm good, that's it, right? It just takes them to the unsubscribe. What I've done with that is I've just basically taken my unsubscribe link, which is down here. There's an unsubscribe here. There's a whitelist one here. There's also an unsubscribe link right here. It doesn't show up blue right now, but it will show up blue later. But anyways, so that's basically the same link. It just takes them to the unsubscribe page. They can choose what they want to get off of, and then they're good. So that's how that message works. So that's all they're getting, right? It's just a simple message of like, I know you're busy. I don't want to bombard you. I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to spam you. So if you don't want my content, get off my list. If you want my content, click the link and stay on my list. Whatever is up to you. So you can see here it's been delivered 20 times. And obviously nobody's even opened it. Open rate 0, click rate 0. That's the gist of it, right? That's what we're doing is we're using this message to get them off of our list. We're using this message to either re-engage them and keep them or say, sorry, see ya. So that's how you can set up a automation. And I'm going to come back on the screen here. So that's how you can set up an automation in order to clean your lists without you having to go in and do it yourself. You don't have to do it manually. Yes, you have to go through and set up the automation manually in the first place, but once it's on, that's it. It's kind of like those ovens, right? You saw them on the commercials, the set it and forget it. Like that's the whole thing is the automation, same thing. You set it up once and it just runs over and over and over and helps you get that going. So that's all I've got for you today. I'm going to be bringing some more videos on some helpful tips and hints and things like that for GetResponse in the future. So please, if you enjoy this content or any of the other training that I have on here, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment if you have any feedback or if you loved it, or, give me a like if you loved it, or give me a dislike if you didn't like it. Either way, just be honest, because I really like the feedback and I really appreciate those that are willing to tell me like it is. So have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next video.